Nanya, you're talking about the nature of the Trinity, and I want to see if this analogy might help just a little bit. And I don't like analogies of the Trinity. And this is not really an analogy of the Trinity, but is anybody else here on this panel a trained engineer or a trained physical scientist at all besides myself?
No, I went into the humanities in seminary, so I've got nothing to offer.
I
Okay,
graduated with
I
a
can't even fix my
0.333
car.
grade point average.
okay. Let's
0.333
What's
college
a
grade
grade point
point.
That's
average?
this is not like me bragging. It's got nothing to do with it. Okay, so that's not what I'm talking about. One of the things I learned, and one of the things everybody learns at some point, is the difference between apprehending something and comprehending something. And here's what I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to do kind of a imprecise job. I'm going to talk about an electron. An atom has a nucleus and it's got the electron going around on the outside of it, right? You guys familiar with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if we talk about just one electron, one thing we know about electrons, if we have just one, we know there's only one. Under some conditions, an electron acts like a wave. It's spread out in space, just like you were watching a wave breaking on a beach. Okay, so if you had multiple rocks on that beach, that one wave would hit all of those rocks simultaneously. You guys get the idea?
Yeah.
At other times, the electron, under other experiments, that electron acts like a particle. It's not spread out in space, it's compact in space. It acts like a ping pong ball. When it hits the beach, it won't hit all of the rocks at the same time. It'll only hit one rock.
Yes, it's like
Okay?
the wave
Sorry about
split
that.
particle experiment.
Yes. In its undisturbed state, it is both a wave and a particle.
You're darn close, brother. Darn close. Go ahead.
It is both spread out in space and compact in one spot. We can, I was able to apprehend it because my undergraduate professors in physical chemistry brought us through the mathematics, and then in graduate school, they brought us through the mathematics and engineering, and I was able to understand the mathematics of it. But my brain is not at all capable of comprehending it because my brain cannot comprehend things that are that small. So that's the difference, but it's still true. There's untold thousands of experiments that verify the validity of this. And it's
That's
not the
the
same.
analogy of the ocean. That's literally the analogy of the ocean that I bring up a lot. You can
Yeah.
apprehend the ocean, but you can't fully comprehend it.
Okay, but let me keep going. I don't want any sidetracks right now.
Yeah, go ahead.
So what I'm getting at is we can apprehend but not comprehend because our brains are not wired for that. Our brains are wired for comprehending things that are basically insect size and larger, up to, I don't know, maybe the size of the moon or something. When we get into the nature of the Trinity, a one God that exists as three distinct persons, three centers of mind, three centers of will, but they are all different from each other, but only one being, we're not going to get it any more than you're going to understand the wave particle nature of the electron. You can apprehend it, but
Doesn't
you're
that
not
sound
going
like
to comprehend it.
some guy reading the Bible in prison isn't going to understand? God intentionally made it so hard, or some guy that's been studying for years isn't going to get it until it's explained to us tonight? That doesn't make any sense. It can't be that difficult. Doesn't Father Son
Well,
suggest a time difference in between Father and Son?
I believe, and this is just my conviction, and I'm just telling you what I believe. I'm not trying to convince you of my point of view. I'm just trying to, hey, Nunya, this is what I think, and then you can tell me to go pound sand or whatever, right? But this is the way I work with it, and I go, we've got a being that's not at all like us in terms of, in many ways, not at all like us. This being existed before anything else existed, before there were atoms and fields and whatever. I mean, what was God doing before he made everything? Probably making hell for people who ask questions like that, right? Okay.
Well, the reason I believe the
So
Trinity is because what the Bible says.
so God is trying to, I believe when God is sitting there in heaven on his throne, even that is a condescension to the angels, so they, as finite beings, have a point of reference to deal with. Because God is infinite, they too are finite.
God the
And
Son is infinite?
God the Son is infinite. Yes, I believe he is. And so is God the Spirit. Now, how it works with his human nature too, I don't know. But it's
Hey,
still, let's say, before the incarnation, right? You have the Trinity. I believe it's a condescension, so they have a point of reference to deal with, right? So they got, when we talk about God, which way do we look? Which way do we talk to, right? That glowing being over there, the voice that it's coming from, right? Something like that. I think it's a condescension because, infinite is unending beyond any finite point. So that's just how I look at it.
but he
We're
died.
not going. What's
Let,
that?
let Nick
God
say
the Son
something. I
died,
want to hear
though.
it. What does
Yeah,
Nick
I'll be
think?
quiet now. But
You're
It's
thank
fine.
you, Elohim.
I want to hear what Nick was trying to say something. I want to,
Well, and on the one hand, I think the infinite argument is, try drinking the ocean, right? You're just not going to be able to.